They call the action which is to do with the mass of the particle, and the time, and the distance, and you basically calculate these little quantities. From telecommunication to interstellar exploration, humanity has always sought ways to go faster, farther, and achieve more in a shorter time. Traveling at the speed of light was something considered impossible a few decades ago, but now scientists have finally cracked the code to achieve this monumental milestone. We may well be on our way to making spacecraft that can travel at 10 times the speed of light. What breakthroughs have scientists made in the pursuit of creating space vessels that travel faster than the speed of light? How soon before we can launch a spacecraft with this ability? Will there be any consequences for traveling at such speeds? Join us in this video as scientists finally discover a new way to travel 10 times faster than light. It has always been a basic human desire to pursue technological advancements. One way this desire has always manifested itself is the desire to do things faster. Faster computers, faster internet, faster mobile devices. The list goes on and on. Surely, there have been massive developments over the years in all of these areas. You'd agree that the computers we have today are nothing compared to the ones we had 2 decades ago. The same goes for satellites and machinery. Our cars today are 10 times faster than what they used to be. But it's not just cars and satellites that we have improved on. Perhaps the most incredible feat of humanity in terms of speed so far has been in aviation. Today, we have made planes that can fly faster than any birds on the planet. We also have jets like the F-35 that break the sound barrier. Think about the Concorde, for instance. It was the first plane to fly at supersonic speed. It was truly a milestone for aviation when this aircraft could move at 1,354 miles per hour, which is more than twice the speed of sound. This incredible speed allowed it to make the trip from London to New York in 3 hours or less. But as fascinating as the Concorde and other modern-day fighter jets may be in terms of speed, they still lag compared to what we use in space exploration. Our spacecraft are currently the fastest aircraft we have. I'm pretty sure you've heard about space rockets or even seen them in action. These machines can go as fast as 18,000 miles per hour. You see, to escape out of the Earth's atmosphere and enter into orbit, you must reach at least 17,600 miles per hour. But this speed requirement goes up several times higher if you're talking about traveling from Earth to another planet, say Mars. To do that, you have to reach speeds of at least 25,000 miles per hour. This is why most of the probes scientists send into space need an immense amount of thrust to get to their destination. For instance, the Juno probe that orbited Jupiter from 1995 to 23 traveled through space at 74 kilometers per second. Now that's over 266,000 kilometers per hour. You'd agree that such speed is totally mind-blowing. Space probes can travel at such wind-breaking speeds thanks to their complex propulsion systems. First, the launches. Space agencies like NASA use a combination of liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen for fuel. Hydrogen, being the substance with the lowest molecular weight, helps keep the weight of the rocket small. When combined with liquid oxygen, it makes for a highly effective yet very lightweight fuel. Sometimes aluminum, along with an explosive, is also used to provide an extra boost, especially for heavier spacecraft. Usually, before a probe is launched, the path is already pre-planned and calculations are made to determine how fast it would have to travel to arrive at its target. Once a spacecraft has been successfully launched a good distance into outer space, the launch vehicle provides most of the major propulsion force in the right path and disengages. Ion thrusters are then used to propel the spacecraft in deep space. These ion engines use very light fuel but provide a very strong thrust force that pushes the aircraft forward at crazy speeds. Beyond that, scientists also take advantage of the gravity of planets and moons to boost or accelerate a spacecraft, thereby saving fuel. This is one thing that has enabled probes like the Voyager 1 and 2 to stay alive for over 4 decades. As for navigation, small hydrogen thrusters are used to make small adjustments to flight paths to help these probes maneuver through space. Currently, Voyager 1 is the fastest spacecraft we have, traveling at a whopping 17 kilometers per second. That's an insane speed right there, but in terms of cosmic scale, it's of no significance. That's because it's still nothing compared to the speed of light. The dream of many scientists and technologists is to build something, anything, that can travel at the speed of light. Until this dream is realized, we may never be able to explore other star systems in our own galaxy, much less travel to other galaxies in the universe. I'm sure you know that interstellar travel distance is measured in light years. For example, the distance between the Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy is about 2.2 million light-years. In other words, it would take 2.2 million years to get to Andromeda if we managed to travel at light speed. This should give you an idea of how massive the universe is, and why scientists are so interested in making this light speed travel a reality. But then, this begs the question, has there ever been an aircraft reportedly faster than the speed of light? Well, yes. Shockingly, not one but several aircraft have been reported here on Earth to be as fast as the speed of light. But here's the thing, they weren't man-made. There has never been a man-made aircraft that has gone faster than the speed of light, but several UFOs or UAPs have been reported to move at such speeds, even under the influence of extremely high wind resistance. UFOs have always been a topic of controversy for several reasons. One such reason is the odd and unnatural features and abilities they possess. These craft don't seem to have any visible propulsion systems, and yet they can move seamlessly and multidirectionally. That's not all. They've been reported to move at astonishing speeds, too. Some are even believed to be faster than the speed of light. One such report came from David Fravor, a retired Navy veteran who shared his UFO encounter at the U.S. Congress hearing in June 2023. Fravor described what he called a tic-tac encounter. It all happened back in 2004 when Fravor was still a Navy pilot. As commander of the F-18F Squadron, he was alerted to the case of an anomaly, a weird object that had been detected in the area. According to Fravor, at the time, operators had detected multiple anomalous aerial vehicles. These vehicles didn't belong to the Navy, and weirdly enough, they were doing something that was practically impossible. Fravor explained that the strange objects were accelerating vertically into space and descending back down 80,000 feet in less than a second. No man-made aircraft can perform this feat even presently, so you could imagine how baffling this must have been for David Fravor and his squad. Fravor was asked to investigate the event, and he did so with his F-18F fighter jet. As he approached the location, he spotted a white tic-tac object in the distance. He and his colleagues observed the strange object for about 20 minutes before deciding to move in for a closer look. That was when the object suddenly came alive and accelerated at such a mind-boggling speed that it seemed to disappear out of sight. According to Fravor, this object had no wings, no thrusters, no propulsion systems of any kind, and no exhaust or air vents. So how it managed to move so fast is something Fravor can't explain to this very day. He mentioned that less than a minute later, the object was spotted again over 60 miles away from its first position. During his testimony at the Congress hearing, Fravor admitted that the technology exhibited by this tic-tac object far exceeds anything we had then or anything we could possibly build in the next 10 years. Fravor's testimony matches the accounts of several Americans and other folks around the world who claim to have seen UFOs that seem to disappear and reappear in an instant. That's exactly what traveling at light speed would look like. However, such speed could literally kill you because of the G-forces you'd have to contend with. If you've ever seen a Navy flight pilot at high speed from the inside of the cockpit, you know that traveling at high speeds causes tension to the pilot. You can see them become very uptight, their skin shrivels, and their bodies seem to become suspended under high tension. The G-forces experienced at such speeds can cause muscle pain, vision problems, nausea, and so on. Usually, pilots are trained to handle G-forces, but even in combat or during missions, they try to limit the amount of G-forces to the least minimum. Otherwise, they could pass out and crash. This is one thing that has killed many pilots over the years. Making extremely fast turns and maneuvers at high speeds can subject a pilot to extremely high G-forces and cause accidents. So, given that these aircraft are barely faster than the speed of sound, you could imagine how terrible the G-forces will be when you're traveling at the speed of light. Many scientists have deemed it to be impossible for humans to travel at such speeds, as the G-forces would literally rip you apart from the inside out. But then, how do these UFOs do it? And given the fact that recent evidence from David Grush suggests these UFOs are piloted by aliens, how do the aliens themselves manage to stay alive in such ultra-fast vehicles? You see, David Grush, another witness at the 2023 U.S. Congress hearing for UAPs, made some shocking revelations. He disclosed that the U.S. government has been recovering non-human remains from UFO crash sites for decades. These remains belong to extraterrestrial entities that are usually found on or inside these UFOs. Grush also confirmed that UFOs have a definite physical and material structure, but the materials used to make these crafts are quite different from what we use. For instance, Grush revealed that UFOs use a technology called anti-gravity to levitate and move through the air in space. This anti-gravity technology allows UFOs to resist the forces of gravity and move at impossible speeds without a visible propulsion system. This might explain how they manage to move so fast without creating any sonic boom or leaving behind any exhaust trails. This revelation, if true, means that we are not alone in the universe and that advanced alien civilizations have been visiting Earth for a long time. It also means that we have a lot to learn from these extraterrestrial visitors if we want to achieve the dream of traveling at the speed of light. However, there is another possibility that scientists are exploring to achieve faster-than-light travel. It is called the Alcubierre drive, also known as the warp drive. This concept was proposed by Mexican physicist Miguel Alcubierre in 1994. The idea is based on the theory of general relativity, which allows for the possibility of stretching and contracting spacetime. The Alcubierre drive would create a bubble of spacetime around a spacecraft, which would contract space in front of the spacecraft and expand space behind it. This would effectively move the spacecraft faster than the speed of light without violating the laws of physics. The spacecraft itself would remain stationary within the bubble, so it would not experience any G-forces or time dilation effects. The Alcubierre drive is still a theoretical concept, and there are many challenges to overcome before it can become a reality. For instance, it requires a huge amount of energy, possibly more than the entire mass energy of the observable universe. It also requires exotic matter with negative energy density, which has not been discovered yet. Despite these challenges, some scientists are optimistic that we might find a way to create a warp drive in the future. For example, NASA's EagleWorks Laboratories is conducting experiments to test the feasibility of the Alcubierre drive and other concepts of faster-than-light travel. Another possible way to travel faster than light is through wormholes. Wormholes are hypothetical tunnels in spacetime that connect two distant points in the universe. They are also based on the theory of general relativity and have been popularized by science fiction. A wormhole would allow a spacecraft to travel from one point to another in a very short time, bypassing the normal space-time distance. However, wormholes also have many theoretical and practical problems. They are highly unstable and prone to collapse, requiring exotic matter to keep them open. They also might not exist at all, as there is no experimental evidence for their existence. Despite